Okay, we're just gonna get this out of the way so that you're not distracted by it throughout the entire review. Yes, my hair is pulled back into a ponytail. It's after the rapture, it's crazy all over. Also, it's really muggy out, and as some of you have already noted, my hair is pretty long, and this is really the only way I can be comfortable. But let's not talk about my hair anymore, let's talk about the rapture. As most of you are aware, the rapture happened at 6 o'clock on Saturday in your specific time zone. Unfortunately, no one on Earth was deemed worthy, and so no one actually got called up. But in honor of that auspicious occasion, as it happens, the week before the rapture, I read 2 books that in some way deal with the afterlife, or the supernatural, or God, or the devil, or something. And I'm going to review the first of those books today, Mitch Albom's The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. This book was recommended to me a long time ago by the girl that I am now dating, Alicia, aka Book 5204. But I avoided reading it for a long time, and the reason I avoided reading it is also the one thing that I really don't like about the book. The title. The title, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, makes it sound like this is a preachy Christian religious novel. Let me assure you right up front, it is not. What this is a novel about a character named Eddie, who is the head of maintenance at the Ruby Pier amusement park. And at the beginning of the book, spoiler alert, Eddie dies. He's killed in a freak accident, and so he makes his way up to heaven, and he finds that heaven is the place where you kind of make sense of your earthly life. Everyone who goes to heaven meets up with 5 people who had some sort of impact on their life, and they help him to learn the lessons that he was supposed to have learned during his life. And only when he has made sense of his life, when he has made peace with his life, can he move on to the next stage of heaven. This book is not exclusive to any one religion, not Christianity or anything really even remotely religious. God is mentioned a total of about 3 times. Eddie himself is not religious, and he doesn't convert at the end of the story or anything like that. And this is not in any way a traditional view of heaven. This is a completely unique and creative look at what the afterlife might be. And the lessons that Eddie learns are not lessons that you'll find in the Bible or the Quran or any other religious text. They are universal life lessons. The lessons are about how we relate to other people and how the decisions we make affect other people. Even if we never interact with him, I said that the 5 people that Eddie meets had an impact on his life, but he didn't actually know all of them. In fact, there were a couple that he never met in his life at all. So the character of Eddie is very rich. We get to know more and more about him as the story progresses, and he gets to be a lot more likable as the story progresses. As far as stories go, this story has a lot of aspects that I love in literature. It's got a nonlinear format, it's got an exploration of the entire life of a person, it's got a rich and descriptive writing style. There's a focus on character development, of course, and how things change over time, and of course, the puzzle pieces. Oh my god, the puzzle pieces. And the story is rarely predictable, but it's not trying to be unpredictable, if that makes any sense. Like, there are some twists in the story, but it's not because they were trying to make this a thriller or anything like that. It's just because there were things we didn't know, and now we do. Oh, I didn't see that coming. But that's okay, because the point of the story isn't to surprise you with twists and turns. It's to show you how this one person's life affected so many others. And the main character, Eddie, is not always a good person and he's not always likable, but that's okay too, because he's supposed to be a representation of a real person. In fact, Eddie believes himself to be insignificant, and in a lot of ways, he is. He stayed stuck in the same place for his whole life. Sometimes he messed up, sometimes he let people down, and he was not always a pleasant person to be around, but he had good aspects and bad aspects, and as we learn more and more about him, we get to imagine him more complexly, and we get to like him a lot more. Don't be turned off by the title. You don't have to be religious in any sense of the word to get something out of this book. The lessons can get a little preachy, for lack of a better word, at times, and the book is not always easy to read, but it is definitely a really good read. It's definitely a book that people should encounter, and unfortunately I can't think of a better title than The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, so I guess you'll just have to take my ultimate recommendation on faith. And that does it for my review of The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Be sure to stay tuned tomorrow when I'll be giving you a review of a book that talks about the other end of the afterlife, hell. And until next time, this is Matt Guyan and Teen Angst for Never, reminding you not to make a grilled cheese sandwich in a toaster and then attempt to get the burned, mangled mess out with a fork. It's a bad idea. Unless you unplug the toaster first.